so out of my element this week.
This is my busty artillery witch NFT.
No, that's not his model. Like, this is an official. I'm like, oh my god, it happened.
So let me tell you about Chapter House.
Okay.
You have also been victim to this, right?
This is true, actually. Yeah, I have been infringed upon, Adrian.
It's a thing.
Stop trying to make Dieselpunk a thing.
It's a thing. Welcome back to In the Trenches, our Trench Crusade podcast with Adrian and Trench Brian.
Hey.
We, of course, are here to discuss a number of exciting things today, all in the world of Trench Crusade. And if this is your first time in, buckle up. We're going to be spending the next 40 minutes, an hour or so, hanging out, talking about things. As always, of course, we want to hear from you, so let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on the matter at hand. First of all, welcome in, Brian. How you doing?
Thanks. Doing well. This is going to be an interesting subject today, so I'm going to try to keep up.
Oh my gosh. It is a subject which is simultaneously so exciting and so boring, but always important.
It is, yeah, it's amazing. I guess I'm not too surprised, but it's very much like, oh my god, like everyone's freaking out, and then you look at it and it's like a page of like legalese.
Yeah, it's like so bland.
Yeah.
But what we're referring to is, of course, we're going to be talking about copyright, the community license, which Factory Fortress has officially released. There were things stated at the beginning of the Kickstarter. There has been some confusion. There have been takedowns. Lots of exciting things happening, and people have feelings about it. So what we're going to be doing today, before we dive into the community spotlights, is I do want to say this is obviously a sensitive topic, and we are third party ourselves. So
Yes.
We have done our research, and I think we'll be presenting everything correctly, but keep in mind, we are not like official Factory Fortress or whatever. No. So in the same vein, you know, we're also not here to make excuses for anyone, whether it be a company or an individual or whatever that's out there. So that's the thing. We're gonna be talking about it. We'll give certainly our own thoughts and opinions, but just keep that in mind. And as in a similar vein, be respectful in the comments as you all just discuss amongst each other, because again, it's a sensitive topic, and people's livelihoods are at stake. Maybe not lives, but
I think, and we'll definitely touch on it. Is like there are people behind these decisions, and I think especially with the size, it's maybe not as many people as you think. So
yeah, exactly. I think we can also maybe give a bit of context on things. So should be very interesting, and something that we are obviously very interested in, because we literally make Trench Crusade content. Yeah. So this could affect us. So we'll talk about that.
It very well could.
But before we do that, let's talk about some of our community spotlights.
Yay!
I'm very excited. This first one is a little bit selfish, but I do want to talk about our thing.
Oh.
This is our St. Valentine Challenge. This is a hobby challenge, first of its kind on the channel, but of course there'll be many more to come. This is going to be a hobby challenge running to the end of the month of February, so 12 p.m. Pacific Standard, 11:59 Pacific Standard.
Oh, that's the cutoff.
On the 28th. Yeah, so it's only a few weeks, but I wanted to keep it within February because that's the theme. It's themes of love, blood, gore, hearts, however you want to interpret that, the color red. So we're pointing you in a direction, but we're leaving it open. We, of course, have all the information in our Discord. We'll put a link in the description down below. There's also a post on the channel, and it's pretty broad, and we'll be judging on, of course, not only your painting capability, but kit bashing, your self-expression, the kind of posing, color palette, all those things will kind of factor in. But I will say, not everyone is into each parts of those. So if you're just like, I'm just here to paint, or I'm really just here focusing on the kit bashing, your models do need to be painted, but keep in mind that does factor in. So don't feel like you have to do everything at once, right?
Yeah, definitely. If there's a lane you're more comfortable in, like pick it and just go for it, It's like a super creative kit bash is almost as great as just like something that's kind of just like, run of the mill, but even a really good paint job. Like,
Whenever I do challenges like this, I always say, okay, for me personally, I know I'm not going to be the world's best painter, but I do have a lot of experience in like kit bashing and converting. So I focus on that, and I try to do as good a job as I can painting, but just focus. So just want to say that, and it's all in the Discord, so join us there.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
I have a lot of projects on my table, otherwise I might go for it. I'm going to try.
You should totally go for it.
I'm going to try.
I would love to see what you got.
We've got some big things going on behind the scenes right now.
We do, and it's exciting. So check that out. On to other things. I want to shout out Witch Art 3D, who have a really cool project. I had seen a few of kind of postings of this on Facebook, so I sort of found it organically, and then actually ended up talking to them recently. So this is a cool, mostly Antioch-themed kind of characters. in that they are designing, printing, distributing. It also includes various pieces of terrain and scatter, which you were really interested in.
I was very excited about that. Yeah, they have some nice little like ladders and duck boards, like little like plank walkways, like a lot of the stuff you see in our, but like the Chapel Afloat episode. Like this is great for that kind of board.
They're so important. We talked a couple weeks ago about how do you build the setting and the scene and scatter.
Yeah, the little pieces like that really bring a table alive for sure.
And so what they're doing is these are actually physical product, which is nice because again, not everyone has access to a 3D printer, so it could be an interesting thing to check out if you are wanting to pick them up. So I have since spoken to Which Art 3D. They actually are sending some to us, so we'll take a look. We'll let you know what you think. But I did find it, and I was like, this is a cool project that y'all should know about.
Even just looking at the pictures that you showed me, looks like really good quality. Like I didn't think it was resin. I thought it was like a hard plastic when you showed it to me because the material they use, and it looks like just like a box that you would pick up, almost like a War Games Atlantic box kind of thing.
Totally.
But very much in line with the Trench Crusade aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's this Wargamer resin that they had done like they're working with the resin makers who are in conglomeration with Fohammer. So there's a lot of interesting people working on that project. So check it out, and we'll let you know when we know more.
Heck yeah.
That's a cool thing. I think you had something you wanted to talk about today, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten in contact with this person personally, but I was such a fan of what they've been putting out that I just had to shout them out. So this is Bizarre Cellar Miniatures, and I found these guys because they are starting kind of a more like greed sort of aesthetic with models. You can see, we'll show a picture here.
They look amazing.
But it just is very creepy, like a lot of incorporation of like hands and fingers, which represents like grasping things. But he also just has a bunch of like really solid stuff that could work well for like naval raiding parties. There's a really good Praetor that I like. I think it's called the Viscount, but it's like like a BK stacker. Heads almost and like teeth and stuff. And I'm like, I love this so much.
It's really sick.
And then they also just have like a really good like trench merchant model that's like running around on like this little donkey thing, and I'm like, that's such a good like NPC model. Anytime I see a model like that, like it doesn't even necessarily need to be for like something for a warband. Like I'm always on the lookout for models that just like inspire a scenario for me. Like that's definitely one of those.
Yes, it's such interesting storytelling just within it. Like it has an opinion.
Yeah,
and I love it because it also. Look, it's totally fine to have a model that's trying to be badass.
Yeah.
But what I personally really love is a model that is like a little quirky, a little interesting, maybe a little bit of that goof. So he's like, he's not a fighter, he's a merchant. He's this little weirdo on his donkey, and I really appreciate that opinion.
This is why I like my wretches so much.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like the big guy, I like the little guys. But,
right?
So definitely really cool stuff. Keep up the good work. I look forward to seeing what this guy puts out, because if he keeps on the same trajectory he's going, it's gonna be great.
It's great stuff. And as always, folks, if you know of a cool project that you think we should talk about, go ahead and send us an email at tabletoptitanssocial@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Please, seriously, it's my favorite part of these episodes. I say it every week, but it's true.
It is legitimately true, guys. He's just like, what do you got for me this week?
Show me cool models and I can go home.
Awesome. Cool. Well, with that, let's dive on into the topic of today.
Let's do it.
We are here to talk about the Trench Crusade community license.
Yes, and I will warn people, I am a salt of the earth gamer. I don't know much about this stuff. I'm a simple man, so Adrian's going to have a lot more experience with kind of like the business side of things.
Totally.
I'm going to hopefully kind of ask questions maybe from the perspective of someone that just kind of writes things for fun, and maybe, you know, what we've seen in this release could have an impact on that as far as how these things could get distributed, or you know, what if I'm a creator kind of making my own designs? Like, what does that mean for me?
Exactly. And so I'll kick it off by defining some terminology. Always a great way to start.
Yes, let's start with definitions.
Definitions.
Please don't fall asleep.
Webster's dictionary says no. No, the main thing is if you look at the article, which I think for this episode we'll include it in the description.
Yeah.
They mention things like creators. Now, in my business, that refers to content creators. But in this case, they're talking about not just content creators, but like physical designs, digital designs, things like that. Those kinds of creators. So product creation versus like specifically content creation. And so I'll try to specify when we talk about them here, but that is just a thing to note as you're reading through that document. Creators does not mean YouTubers. It means everyone creating things for use in Trench Crusade, basically.
I've already learned something.
Yeah. So that's important.
I'm woefully unprepared for this episode.
Well, so you're going to learn a lot today, too. It's perfect.
This is funny, because like this is an episode that I would watch, and I'm like, oh God, I have to be part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Look, we're going to learn. So I guess a bit of context as well. So obviously Trench Crusade launched their incredibly successful Kickstarter last year.
Yeah.
It did really, really well. Since then, understandably, there's been many people kind of following in its wake. Seventh wake.
Seventh wake.
And have, for better or worse, wanted to kind of benefit from it, use it, be part of it. We're part of that. We saw this is something that people are excited about. Let's try making some content, see if people liked it. They did, and here we are.
Shocker,
so, yeah, exactly. It also obviously includes people who wanted to make their own bespoke models. Now, this comes from the history of Trench Crusade in general. Trench Crusade, people know of it as kind of starting during this Kickstarter, but that's absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
Trench Crusade has been around for several years, and it has been a setting that's existed, and it's been a rule set that existed after that, but it's only recently become a model set. Before, you had to kit bash everything.
Yeah, because it really started out as like just an artwork project, right?
Yeah.
From these guys, and then they kind of leaned into their, the game design from that foundation.
Yeah.
And we didn't see STLs for the longest time.
No, I mean, look, when we did even season 1, we didn't have the
true,
STLs
yeah.
yet. Like, think about it. People are like, oh, you guys use so many like unofficial models. It's like those models literally did not exist yet.
Except for the Trench Pilgrims.
Yeah. Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You know what? When I started my warband,
That's what it is.
I had built it before they came out because I just couldn't wait. You're right.
I was, in the same aspect when I was starting, because we were giving demos for these games at the store like regularly, and like the community was just like exploding, but there was like no physical models at the time.
Yeah, when the Kickstarter came out, obviously the models didn't come out immediately, but the rules are out. And so I was like, I want to just get going on this. I want to be involved. And so Kit Bash, which is how everything was done.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that happens. Then the Kickstarter launches. They have lots of STLs and things like that. It's very accessible. It's very revolutionary in that sense, in that we've never seen a Kickstarter be so successful off of like a purely digital product, which is cool to see. So that all kind of sets a tone around public accessibility, public involvement, in some way a need for public goodwill as well to keep the game alive and moving. So that's cool. However, this is a real thing now. Suddenly you have these people, there's not many people, who are creators, first and foremost, right? Writers, rules writers, lore writers, artists, things like that, that suddenly have this very successful Kickstarter and therefore need to organize and make sure that they can also protect what they are creating, are now going to have people's jobs on the line around.
Exactly.
They're hiring people, artists, community managers, all that stuff, that their livelihood depends on this.
Yeah, and that's like, if we want this thing to continue, like if we don't want it to like, hey, cool, now we're just using this as a jumping off point, like they need to be able to obviously like make this work.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So it's like, cool, some rules need to be laid down.
Yeah.
There was a sort of first pass released when this all began, and by and large, it was fine. There wasn't too much of an uproar, although I know, even from earlier on, I think Factory Fortress was probably dealing with a lot of people just straight up taking the copyright.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, we like to show third-party models here.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. And one thing I always look towards is I say, is this person doing something new and creative that can exist in the world? Or are they doing 2 degrees of separation from an existing product and just trying to like steal off of that?
Yeah.
Obviously everything we've shown doesn't fall into that category, but there's a lot out there.
There are, and that's definitely something like selecting models for season 2. I mean, I use all official models, which is like fine. But even when it was stuff from kind of like discussing the models I was using for season 1, I just kind of wanted to be cognizant of it, that there wasn't too much. It wasn't too close to what Factory Fortress was putting out, because you could literally go online right now and probably find like a dime a dozen like artillery witches out there.
Oh, I know. It's so bad.
I get it. Yeah, is that model in particular I see like all over the time, and I feel like there aren't people that are like kind of like evolving on it enough.
Exactly.
Some of the things you see like leaning more into like a naval theme, for example. Bizarre Cellar Miniatures, like one of the guys we just talked about today, he does like kind of more of that like aquatic style, and like you can see something like, oh, that's an artillery witch clearly, but like they've put their own spin on it. It's not like a 1-for-1.
Exactly. Yeah, do that other spin. Naming matters, and we'll talk specifically about what that means.
That's another angle to it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's something that could be used in this setting, you can imagine. But obviously, people always want to use those buzzwords. They want to use Trench Crusade, this, that, and the other thing. So we finally get some clarification on when is it okay, when is it not okay. Because there are people obviously just trying to take advantage, but then there's also a lot of people, I think, who just genuinely don't know, because it was kind of unclear where the line is. And this is important because it lets us know, and as clear as we've known, where the line is.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that, and I think it's like them coming out and kind of putting this out there is good, because it's like there are probably some people that have stuff on, you know, my mini factory or maybe Colts that is like probably A-okay. It's just the way that they're like labeling it or describing it that might get them into trouble. So I'm hoping that by like this article coming out and kind of like redefined by these guidelines and like everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like as far as just like the one-for-one stuff, obviously that probably needs to be taken a look at.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful that, you know, a lot of the stuff we see is just gonna be fine.
I think so, for sure. You know, and then the last thing I'll say before we dive onto specifics is I'm not a copyright expert, but yeah, exactly. But you know, we make our own products, and we always have to be wary of it. And content creation is also part of it too. But there is a certain degree of like, if you don't defend your IP, then it becomes undefendable. Basically, that is a thing that does exist, and that is true. So we'll say that, and let's dive on in. So they start by talking about an overall stance on community creation, copyright. So first of all, they start very plain-faced. They say, we have no problem with other people making money off of Trench Crusade.
That's a good place to start.
Great.
Yeah.
That's not a legally binding statement, but that is a very helpful intent setter, which is great.
Good way to start.
Then they also say, however, the things that people do cannot be to the detriment of the Factory Fortress team. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit vague in the sense that you're like, well, what does that mean? Does any product that is Trench Crusade going to be taking away business from them? They do kind of specify and clarify further down the line.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think a big part of this is brand recognition. So I think one thing that caused a lot of takedowns that will be easy to avoid in the future is basically we can't use the word Trench Crusade. We can't use the logo, which seems obvious, but even just kind of saying Trench Crusade in there, they are basically like, don't do that.
Yeah.
The downside is, of course, harder to get your stuff out there if you can't use the buzzword of Trench Crusade, but there are many vendors out there that have already made this switch, trench, whatever.
Yeah, there's a ton of different ways, and if you're familiar with looking up files online, like it'll become, you know, pretty, it'll be, Jesus, struggling today. It'll come easy to you. Like you're just looking for like Grimdark is a pretty IP neutral buzzword.
World War I.
World War I, Grimdark.
Dieselpunk has not been used. I think that would have been a helpful word, but people
said that
aren't
a couple
really saying
times,
that.
and I'm like, yeah, I guess that kind of clicks. Yeah,
I think it totally is.
Dieselpunk. It would not be my first guess, but I think it works. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, it's gonna be annoying for vendors and sellers, but at the same time, look, I totally get it. Right?
I do wonder because, and we'll talk about this later. There is a pathway to getting like Trench Crusade compatible stamp. I wonder if you get that if you can put the Trench Crusade.
You can.
Keyword. Okay.
In fact, you can go so far as even naming the units that something might be good for representing.
If you get that official stamp.
If you get the Trench Crusade compatible stamp, which I'll talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
So there's just general things that are okay. Again, so you can make things that match the setting as long as they're not a one-for-one.
Yeah.
There is a lot of mention in here about something which I think maybe was more common than I had suspected. They seem very concerned with people taking the actual STLs, and it's not just reselling. Everyone knows that. That's a thing. That's an unfortunate side effect that does happen. But it's people modifying those STLs to make something that in their mind is different enough to then sell and distribute.
So like they take the official one.
Like they download the model, they change it.
Purity seals on it, or like change the head.
They do like a digital kit bash, which again is fine, but then they go and they sell it. It's the redistribution.
Yeah, see that's icky.
Exactly. And so I'm like, maybe that was happening more than I would have thought.
Yeah, that's kind of
like, come on, guys, it's so lazy.
That's super fine. Like if you're just doing it for your own project, like awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of the reason why I don't put out some of my own digital kit bashes. Is just like I don't want to monetize off other people's work, right?
Sure. You've had a lot of concerns about that with your projects because people also ask for them. And,
they do.
And you've been very cautious because you want to be respectful of it, you know?
Yeah.
For better or worse, you have also been victim to this, right?
This is true, actually. Yeah, I have been infringed upon, Adrian.
You have.
Yeah, so the Shatter song is a very popular sculpt that I get a lot of requests for, and it's like, I do love it, but there's a reason why I don't put the file out there, is because it incorporates elements of other people's work, and it's like, I don't want to make money exploiting other people. Like, that's just doesn't seem right.
Like, the digital kit bash was taken from inspiration from various different sources, and then you use that, and again, that's fine as long as you're not reselling it. But then people have literally taken that, resculpted, and selling it.
They did a one-for-one on my design, and then I saw that, and I'm like, it came up on Reddit one day. It's like, isn't that guy from Trench Crusade or whatever? Like, no, that's not his model. Like, this is an official. I'm like, oh my god, it happened, which is like super flattering, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
It's very flattering, and it was a whole Kickstarter.
Weird. Yeah.
But again, there's a human behind this
Hi.
who has made it, who is not
human.
benefiting. Not only you're not benefiting, you're not getting any of those proceeds, you're also potentially, your reputation is hurt. Because let me tell you, if we did a Shatter Song model, it'll be way better.
Yeah, I think it could have done better.
It'll be way better.
I'm really worried about the pool noodle arms. Like, you're printing those out in resin, those are not going to make it.
I don't see how that's going to print.
I used armature wire for mine, because I knew for a fact. But
exactly.
Anyways,
so
hopefully one day.
So kind of case in point, honestly, which is a good reminder, as always. You know, copyright can be annoying, frustrating, but also there's people behind it that are trying to be protected on both sides. I think this is important because, like, look, we make terrain, right? We don't make Trench Crusade terrain yet. But so it's important that we understand the rules so that we can also run a business off of that. It goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Factory Fortress wants to run their business. We want to run our business. We'd love to make money off of that too. So, like, let me understand the rules. So if we want to do something, I can continue to do that in the future. And that's why this is so important if you're interested in being involved in Trench Crusade product creation.
This is something that I would not have thought of twice until I started collaborating with you guys, and now it's like,
it's a thing.
Oh my god, this is 100% a thing for my life now. I'm glad we are discussing this.
So continuing along the community license in general, they say, so specifically don't use their names, IP, or designs directly. We've talked about the designs, that's easy. IP is starting to get a bit more vague, but let me explain what that means. Like,
please.
You cannot, exactly. It's related to names. Names is again, easy. You can't say artillery witch.
Okay.
You can't be like, this is an artillery witch.
Okay.
This is an observer.
Right.
You can't do that. The IP is kind of other things within that setting. You know, it's, for example,
Heretic Coast?
Well, Heretic Coast is, we've made it up. And that was also by design,
I thought that was a region in...
No, I made that up.
Oh!
It's completely fresh. But for that reason, like, I don't want to step on their toes. I want to make my own thing. And to be able to, like, own that space. So I was like, Heretic Coast. I even specifically have not currently said where the Heretic Coast is, because I want to maybe leave that open to hopefully one day. And two, also avoid stepping on toes of Factory Fortress, you know? So it's about being respectful of other people's works. And so being vague is not only creatively rewarding, but also that's gonna make your stuff more compatible with others.
It's definitely good too, because I think we touched on an episode before. They've definitely given writers enough room to play in their world. So I do think that you have enough room to kind of not get yourself into trouble there.
So I'll tell you maybe what is not acceptable for them.
Yes.
So it was Essence and Spiel. They released some very cool art of a new Prussian model, I believe. It was the big, no, it wasn't the wing guy. It was the big knight armor kind of dude.
Oh, like the Maximilian class
That's what
machine?
It was.
Yeah,
Yes,
so I don't think that's Prussian. I think it's Antioch in general, but yes, I know the one you're talking about. It's like Dreadnought size machine armor, if that's a good comparison. It's awesome, very rad.
Cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the model didn't exist at the time.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, within a week, the model did exist.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because, you know, from the other side, like, people are just excited. They're like, this is sick art. I just want to make this model. I want to model it. I understand that desire. But then, cool, that exists. Again, it's an STL. We live in the digital age.
Yeah.
Now that is sold, and then that's going to just, like, why even buy the real model?
Exactly.
Other than, like, the moral, ethical side of you want to support the real creators.
By the time the official one comes out, like, the hype, and, like, people are only going to have, like, physical ones, and just, like... Yeah.
So it sucks. It sucks. Like, I know you want to make those models, and for your personal use, for personal, like, making your own artworks or whatever, like you could do that again, but like distributing it, you're directly hurting the designers, the model makers, the creators, illustrators, all that stuff.
And that had like an unfortunate side effect where now like they're hesitant to release teasers for artwork because of this, which is kind of a bummer for us, which means we don't get to see like cool stuff coming down the pipeworks. And this is something that it sounds like you've experienced when you're like doing like 40K content as well.
Yes,
is that right?
100%. So a lot of precedent in the miniature field comes from a classic lawsuit known as the Chapter House lawsuit.
Good God.
Yeah, that takes you back, right? Chapter House.
Oh yeah, I know that one, the Chapter House. Yeah. But please tell people.
Oh, no, you don't?
No, tell them about the Chapter House lawsuit.
Sorry, yeah. I didn't want to assume.
I'm so out of my element this week.
So let me tell you about Chapter House.
Okay.
So we used to have in Warhammer 40K rulebooks, and even fantasy, I believe, rules and art for units that never got physically made.
Okay.
Which was awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could kit bash them, you could model them. It was awesome.
Lucius the Eternal back in the day did not have a model from 3.5 Codex. Well, you had no model. You had to make your own.
Yep. And there was the one of the weird lictor leapery things, which was I think one of the ones that broke the camel's back here. Anyways, there was a company called Chapter House, which started making those models.
Oh.
And so
like by name? Where they were like still kind of like, ooh.
I can't remember if it was by name or if it was like just basically exactly copying the art. But the fact is, those models now existed.
Yeah.
And GW was like, hey, that's not cool. Like that's our model. Like blah blah blah. And then basically it was ruled that Chapter Houses basically. Like GW couldn't take that from them because there was no physical product that ever existed.
Oh, interesting. So they had like no claim to it because they had no.
Yep. Oh. So that not only killed all those things that don't have models, and that they will never create something that doesn't have a model ever again.
Is this why we're getting a lot of like monopose models? Or
I mean, it is. There's a reduction for sure.
Yeah.
And there's also it means that we only ever see models very shortly before the release happens, right? You'll notice it'll be like maybe 3 months at most.
Oh, okay.
And that's part of that. And the unfortunate side effect is, of course, here we see the same thing happening here, and that's where some people are like, yes, Factory Fortress is becoming more corporate. And it's like, look, I guess a fair point in this case, but like we obviously see what happens.
Yeah,
so it's an unfortunate side effect.
It's like, I guess if people are going to like blame these guys for taking this stance, but it's like they literally got like stabbed on this one.
It's like, right there.
Guys, like, what do you want them to do, you know?
Yeah.
If these people need to, sell miniatures to keep going, and it's like they're getting undercut by like doing these like good faith things, and like they're just excited about it, and they're getting undercut by like this small group of people that are just kind of like rushing to make this stuff. It's like, I
mean, look, right now you can go ahead and you can download Crusade rules for free.
Yeah, that's like another thing too.
The only way they make money is by making these other products and people actually buying them.
It's like a living document that like you have access to online. It's super generous. It's like we should be,
So that's a bit of context. Again, no designs directly, which makes sense. No using the names, which is also makes sense, but is difficult to do when you're a vendor trying to sell specific, proxies for models. More on that later. And then IP, we talked about like the art and the need for that. And the last thing I'll mention, which is related to what you were saying, which is they talk about misrepresentation. It dilutes the brain. It's confusing. It's like, oh, is this Trench Brian? No, he didn't do that. Doesn't want credit for that. Is this Factory Fortress? No, this is not actually. And it's like, well, what is real and what is not?
Yeah.
So there's just like a general sense for that and how that works.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the compatible with Trench Crusade system. So I will say there's been this sort of community license of like what's cool to use, what's not cool to use. There have been 2 official war bands that are officially connected to Trench Crusade, right? We have the Red Brigade and we have the Great Hunger.
Yes.
And those both have whatever agreement that they have with Factory Fortress, which is not the same as compatible with Trench Crusade. Compatible with Trench Crusade is still unofficial, to my understanding.
Okay.
You will apply to it. They said they'll get back within 30 days, although they're going to be swamped for the next month.
There was a big asterisk on that one, because it sounds like they are underwater right now.
Don't expect anything soon. But again, if you're a vendor, like do this yesterday, basically, and get yourself in that queue so you can get approved as soon as possible. To that point, they are giving a 2-week grace period from the date of this publishing, which seems a bit short to me.
The 2-week grace period, that's for applying or for
existing
updating your stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, technically, it needs to be taken down, which will be easier with some products than others. I'll say that.
Yeah, so I don't have much experience with this, but you said 2 weeks, maybe not enough. Like, what would
My worry is if you have a physical product that's already made in production,
so
or you have to rebox things,
that's a good point.
and you need to then do new packaging. You need to take everything down for sales. You got to produce that. You got to
I didn't think about
repackage
that. I was just thinking about STLs, but that's a
Yeah.
good point as far as like physical media. Can you think of any like boxes out there that might be like skirting the line?
So that's what I was going to say is, fortunately,
yeah.
basically every product I can think of is digital currently, or already one of the official.
Yeah.
Not official.
I know.
No, official. They are official, actually.
And then the one you're talking about at the start of this episode, where they're selling the boxes of the printed one, was the name of the company again?
This is by Which Art 3D.
Which Art. Okay, it sounds like they're actually kind of working with Tomas and stuff, so that one should be okay,
It seems, well, again, remember...
Not working with, but it's like they've been talking.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, Tomas is a backer, and they were like linking it, so it seems like Factory Fortress is cool with it. They will probably still have to double check and make sure everything's in motion.
Yeah.
Anyone who's in that stage is fine. It's the people who have like invested in infrastructure currently that will then have to change over, which fortunately, I don't think is very many people.
Yeah.
Back to compatible with Trench Crusade. So marking as unofficial, you still can't use the Trench Crusade logo. So that's a thing.
Makes sense.
Again, there might be more one-off relationships like we've seen with Great Hunger and Red Brigade.
Yeah.
But it is not the same, so I really want to drive that home. They say there's a few restrictions. You have to hold yourself in good moral conduct. So basically, if you go out and you turned out to be some sort of racist, then they can rescind it. That's important.
Good, I guess.
You can't disparage them. Makes sense. You can't use AI in any part of the creative process for them.
Good.
So they're extending their stance, which is their stance, to anyone who is basically wants to be affiliated with them like that.
I feel this will come up later because they know that there have been talks about using AI as far as looking for IP infringement.
Yes, it
but
will
they
come
do
up.
highlight that it's not, they don't want to use AI for like creative processes, but one of the contractors they use to search for like IP infringements use that.
We should definitely talk about that. They do, because there was a lot of rumors, which they also say, it was like, oh, they use AI for this or that, and we're like, did they? I don't know. Basically, they have a third party that has been doing the copyright takedowns. So what you got to do, again, this is a company of like 4 people in reality. Third party takes care of it. This is the case with many, many companies. That company did use AI to automate finding the infringements, but then it was humans who did the final check.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't sound like the AI they were using would go and then like flag these and immediately issue like a takedown. Like it wasn't that, and then someone would step in and see if it was legitimate or not. It seems like it was just like applying like flags, like a search engine essentially to present to like someone that was on their staff.
Exactly, that's exactly how it worked. So, which is not what I thought. I did think it was fully AI, especially because there were some people who got caught in the crossfire who I thought maybe shouldn't. I haven't gone back now to see, okay, in light of the way that they're seeing it, what does this make sense or does it not? My guess is it would. My guess it falls under one of these categories. But at first I was like, oh yeah, it's like AI automation.
In those situations, I wonder if maybe it's just a bad decision, or hopefully these guidelines coming out will maybe better informed decisions. Like, I hate to see people get caught in the crossfire. Like obviously it does happen, and like it sucks. Like we're not defending that. Like if someone got taken down and it was like they were super in the clear, like if they done everything right, then like that sucks. And I hope they get made whole.
Let me put it this way. So in YouTube, I have to work with copyright every day. We use musical licenses, we use images, things like that. Stock websites, all that stuff. On YouTube, it has an automated system, obviously an AI system, that as soon as I upload, it does a scan, goes,
tells you like immediately,
tells me like, here's the song, here's where it is, here's who owns it, blah, 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 and it's like, geez. And the first few times I got this, let me tell you, that just stopped my heart, because it's terrifying, because you don't want to get YouTube channel canceled and taken down.
No, because it's like a strike system, right?
Exactly, strike system. But at the top of that, they say very clearly, this is not a copyright strike. It's just a notice of, hey, this is a thing. And then they give you several options. You can get rid of the audio in question. You can replace it with something else. You can demonetize the video, because again, if nobody's making money off this, it's not really a thing. Or you can provide your license. And that's what I have to do. It's getting more and more automated where I have to do less of that, but a lot of times I'm like literally going through, I pull up all the files, I find where's the contract, I paste it in, I'm like, nope, we're actually good, and they're like, cool, we're good. So all this to say, there are many automated systems in these copyright processes. They go back and forth, and not all of them are the same as a takedown notice or a full-blown lawsuits. Okay. Generally speaking, there's like a, hey, you should change this or don't do that. The other side then has a chance to adjust, and then you go back and forth, right?
Do we know if that's the case with kind of what's been issued here? Or?
I don't know for sure. Yeah. I don't know firsthand, so I wouldn't want to say guaranteed.
For sure.
But
for sure.
I think certainly that is the intent here with a lot of these changes. Again, that's kind of the 2-week grace period where they're like, we know that we're giving more context now. Some of these things will be probably wrong. Yeah. And just adjust them.
It sounds like people are going to have to take these guidelines and then self-police. Like you're going to have to kind of look at your own releases and maybe make some changes, maybe just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's going to be a learning process for everyone, and us included, if we ever wanted to do Trench Crusade stuff in the future.
That's the thing, yeah.
So, it's... there's a lot of like moral and ethical things that get thrown around, but as people who are reliant on this, like I also just want to understand it so I can know what I need to do for the future.
Exactly.
Do I agree with it or not agree with it? I just need to understand it.
Yeah, now. And it goes back to like literally that first sentence where like we think it's cool that people can make money off Trench Crusade. And it's like that's the spirit of it. We just need to figure out the right way to do it because we obviously, I suspect, I'm not speaking for Titans, but I assume we want to be in the camp of the people that are doing it correctly.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, and just makes everyone's life easier, and it keeps goodwill with everyone involved, which is so important in this community. Yeah. In the same vein, they say, ask first, not after. This is not a case of ask for forgiveness, which is fair enough. So send them over. It's in that same article.
Yeah.
There's an interesting case in the Compatible with Trench Crusade where basically that compatible with Trench Crusade material is not trademarkable, which is interesting.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that one's probably one of the most vague for me.
So you can't trademark something that is compatible with Trench Crusade, but is something that you've created.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So let me pull it up.
Okay.
So we have it here in part 2 of the community license.
Section 2, Article 5.
It is actually Section 2, Subsection 3. You may not register copyrights, trademarks, or patents or other intellectual property incorporating the Trench Crusade IP, and you may not submit takedowns, send cease and desists, or send any enforcement action for any projects. Now, it gets a bit more vague. Now, keep in mind, I'll make a side note, which is a whole other topic. Currently, they're not actually allowing any third-party rules for profit.
Yeah.
So that would fit well into this. So we're thinking about models, and this includes gaming aids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, things like that are directly meant to be like if you had like blood markers that are blood markers
so
or whatever.
So even with the official stamp, you could not monetize those?
Well, none of these have official stamps. These are compatible with. So compatible with Trench Crusade.
Got it.
Probably to avoid someone trying to trademark blood markers. But for example, what I'm a little bit unclear on is if I wanted to copyright a trench elephant.
Sure. Or like Glastons. What if we wanted to copyright Glastons?
Right. Unclear.
Yeah.
Unclear to me personally.
Concern.
Yes, exactly. Like it is associated with the Trench Crusade. Like let's say if we were to make Glastons compatible with, like if we wrote we made a model for it, I guess.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of physical products. We're not talking about rot models.
That'd be a big one.
Yeah, don't think about that nightmare.
Okay.
So that's a little bit unclear. Does that mean that someone in turn could just make their own Glastons and steal it from us?
Oh God. Oh God, no! It's happening again!
I have questions.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's a thing.
And then also it's just like releasing the campaign books, right? Like, what does that mean for that?
That's a separate issue, or not a separate issue. That's a thing that I think we're going to want to have to figure out because we do want to release them.
100%.
I would love to. We need to find the line. What happens if we release them for free versus what happens if we want to release them as like a nice, like real book or whatever? You know, like you're putting a lot of work into this already, but I want to look into and know where that line is. You know.
Yeah, because it'd be very cool. Like the one I'm working on now is already like up to 50 pages, and I'm definitely gonna invest in getting some like nice artwork done. And like, man, it'd be so cool to like have like a physical like splat book that you could open.
Exactly.
But this is something we're gonna have to look into.
I think part of it is models are easy to approve or disapprove.
Yeah.
Rules are not, and they're gonna get an onslaught of models and products already, t-shirts, whatever.
Yeah.
For them to review all the rules on top of that is a lot.
Yeah.
So my guess would be if people want to collaborate with them, again, the same way that Westphalia did or that Creature Caster did, then in those cases, those are rules that are literally official.
Yeah.
It may be possible to obtain even like a Trench Crusade compatible for rules, but right now they're not like entertaining that. So that's my guess is why at the start they're like no rules.
Yeah, it definitely it kind of makes me think of like 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons where you had like a ton of splat books or like Pathfinder, things like that, where you had like compatible with because it was, I think, based on an open game license, like the rule set. So people could develop their own like scenarios and adventure paths and things like that, and I think like they could monetize those, like they could sell them in store.
I would love to see that.
Also, I would too.
Also, this one.
Yeah.
Mork Bjorhe.
Is that how it's pronounced?
It is, yeah.
I thought it was Morkborg.
No, it's not.
I'm embarrassing myself this week.
It's okay, that's most people.
Mork Bjorhe?
It's like Mjorg Bjorhe.
So made up. That's so made up.
There's a lot of versions of things that are Morkborg compatible. I think that's the term they use, but it's another kind of approach that is similar.
Morkborg.
I know. I can't help it. I'm American. I'm sorry, I'm American. So I think there's ways that they could go. So again, I hope totally speculating here.
I hope that's the end goal because
that'd be
we
great.
get a lot of cool stuff, and it definitely leads to metas where it's like official stuff only as far as like rules or like if you want to run something third party, like just get it approved from like your campaign organizer.
Yeah,
it's exactly like how we do it in D&D. Like sometimes if it's third party, you just got to get it approved in your community.
When you see those, you don't think it's made by Wizards of the Coast.
No,
right? So
100% because they have the stamp on there as like third party or whatever. So usually if it's not official, you just have to get the blessing, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Please let us do that because
but I'm not the business major.
No. Frankly, I will probably be reaching out to try to do stuff, and we'll see what can come of it.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to do something with our campaigns.
Yeah, obviously we are invested in Trench Crusade. We think it's a very fun game, and we'd like to be able to share, kind of the stuff that we've worked on without stepping on anyone's toes.
Exactly. Couple other interesting points. Again, I know we're getting kind of messier as we move through the topic, but it's so interwoven. Yeah. And then there's like the main article, and then there's the actual document, which also provides context. Even like there's the legalese, but then there's like an actual kind of commentary, which is helpful, but it means there's a lot to kind of dig through. Yeah. So they do say the work this is for the compatible with, you have to be introducing something new and creative to the world of Trench Crusade. Kind of like what we were saying is our litmus test for models and things like that we promote is like, are you doing something interesting and different, or is your own take on it? So they say, understandably, creators will want to design projects that work with our existing rules and model ranges. However, they'll not approve projects that are based on factions, variants, designs, rules, or material that you've published or intend to publish in the future. They can have recognizable themes, but with new expression. And then they give an example, which is still a little bit confusing for me. If you propose an assassin warband with an Iranian theme, that's just the concept for our Fida'i of Alamut warband, and we won't accept it.
Butchered that.
I definitely. Mork Bjorhe. Which is probably also butchered. If you were to propose an assassin warband with a Far Eastern theme, ninjas, monks, that we can get behind. Yeah. Right? But if you're doing something at the future Temple of Metamorphosis rule set, we won't accept that either. Because that's something that exists right now in them. I don't really know Sultanate.
They've teased the Church of Metamorphosis so for
that's
sure.
Why.
And like something of the Beast, Path of the Beast. Like there are things, I think it gets trickier if, and I don't know how they would enforce it, like if you are working on something in the dark and you come out with, and that like, oops, like that's something Factory Fortress was developing as well.
Yeah,
like
that
if
sucks.
you do a faction of ninja ogres or something,
right.
like, oh my god, Path of the Ninja Ogre, like 2027. Like what happens then?
It makes me a little bit nervous for all the naval raiders, to be honest.
Oh, like all the naval raiding models?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I'm nervous. But again, where's the line between nautical and heretic naval raiders?
Yeah, and they do touch on that. It's like obviously they can't copyright like the World War I aesthetic, right? That is unfortunately part of our history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this is a different copyright. This is BioShock themed.
Exactly. Dude,
so, anyways, this is to say that I think there are still questions for sure that we as a community are going to have to learn, and I'm sure Factory Fortress will continue to try to communicate with them. Yeah. And we'll try to learn what we can and share with everyone as well.
They did give a couple like, which helped me as well, is like physical examples of like models. Like they cited a model by Creature Caster, like the Goetic Warlock that they did. It's like clearly it's meant to represent a warlock, but like they've put their own spin on it. They've written their own story for it, so it's okay.
It looks different than the art, which again is kind of like that Antioch model we talked about. It's like, yes, the art exists. If you're going to make a model for something that doesn't exist yet, make sure it feels very different, right?
The second example seemed a little bit more confusing to me.
No, that's great. Bring up.
Yeah, because they said like another good example is the machine heavy infantry guy from this set, and it's like that just looks like machine heavy infantry to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks different for sure. It's like where the plates are and stuff, but at the end of the day, like big guy in armor is like big guy in armor. You know?
Yeah, that's where it gets a bit more. It gets a bit more vague in a good way. So this is referring to the Hollow Crown Miniatures Cruciform Order of St. George, which is actually not out yet. It looks like it's going to be coming out soon. This was one case where I felt it was like, I feel like so many people are just taking these base models that they put out and modifying them. I really feel like there's more of that. Because as you say, big guy in armor is big guy in armor.
Yeah.
This is similar to the machine armor, but then again,
it's different enough.
A machine guy in armor is a machine guy in armor, especially World War theme. Like they do not own the diesel punk setting, right? So it's a thing.
Stop trying to make diesel punk a thing.
It's a thing. There's steampunk. There's diesel punk. There's what's the World War II version? Someone in the description will know.
Just making it up.
There's like Fallout is that version. It's like retro. No, well, that's retrofuturism.
Yeah. Oh my god, I know what you're saying. Yeah. It's like deco punk.
So there is deco. Deco punk is before that.
God damn.
Which is more like diesel punk.
There's too many punks.
There's so many punks.
Get out of here,
Deco punk is like after World War II, after World War I, before World War II.
When do we just start saying
Art Deco is 1930s.
Like, can we just say like the 20s or the 30s?
Yeah, exactly.
Punks.
Let's just be like, these are the millennial punks. These are the boomer punks. The Victo punks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so look, this is a complicated topic. I'm sure there's a lot more we could discuss. I would love to hear a civil discussion in the comments. If someone is being rude to others and obnoxious, I will not be afraid of removing those comments. So don't even try. But I would love to hear your genuine thoughts. Are you excited about something? Are you concerned? Are you relieved? Let's talk about it, because I think this is going to be an ongoing conversation with us in the community, with Factory Fortress in the community, and we got to figure out what works, how can everyone benefit, and how does nobody get hurt.
Yeah, that's the important part, right?
It's really hard.
I definitely walking away from this, at least filming this, like a lot of answers, but also more questions.
Yeah. There's a few things which are just vague, and unfortunately, with things like copyright, it is sometimes hard to know until you know, which is not a satisfying answer if you're trying to make things. But we're going to have to figure out, and unfortunately, the people who are already out there in the field right now with products are probably going to be the guinea pigs.
We're rooting for you guys.
Rooting for you.
Yeah.
So get in there, get those changes done. Let's still make cool things for this game, which has a very, very dedicated audience. We're all here because we love it, and we want to make it work. So, and obviously, we have a vested interest not only in... Oh, we didn't really talk about content creation. So let me say briefly.
Sure.
They kind of do a big catch-all exception for content creation in the beginning, which is good, because you could easily shoot yourself in the foot right out of the gates, where we'd be like, cool, well, guess we're closing up shop and everyone else doing content about Trench Crusade.
Which I imagine they would not want.
They wouldn't want, exactly.
Dear God.
One, they say there's a few things you just can't do.
Yeah.
You can't do video games. You can't do video game mods.
Sure.
You can't do apps. You can't do new display miniatures or busts.
What about like Warband Builder apps?
Use of Trench Crusade IP for any projects on app platforms such as the App Store or Google Play.
Seems like no.
Seems like no.
Okay.
Which they have their own app.
Okay.
I
have not used it. I've been using War Room? No.
Or New Recruit?
New Recruit. I've been using New Recruit.
Yeah, I've used a lot of New Recruit. I know Little B uses a lot of the Trench Companion.
Okay.
So it's a classic thing. When I used to use Battlescribe back in the day, when Games Workshop came up with a good alternative product,
that's the thing.
I switched over immediately. If it wasn't a good product, then I'd be more upset.
As long as it's a good product, like I'll use it. That's the big thing. So.
Onus is on them. Got to make sure it's a good app. Yeah, so no, you can't make new busts or display miniatures,
Sure.
basically just trying to steal them, blah, blah, blah. No new tabletop games this is all fun that falls under, you
Sure.
can't make things in this setting.
That's fine.
No NFTs, Ryan.
This one made me laugh. I was like,
No NFTs.
People still do NFTs, but...
This is my busty artillery witch
Yes.
NFT. I'm sure you see it all,
Stop
folks.
spoiling my submission for the hobby project. You're ruining it.
No.
My caked up artillery witch.
Caked up artillery witch.
That was like, we were like, we need to talk about this. What are the guidelines for this?
We need to talk.
Yeah.
And then they say, specifically, generally you can't have commercialized products except for a few easy exceptions. So they say content creation, things that review, explain, show gameplay of tabletop games, you can finance. We're allowed to make money making content off of that.
Yes.
And by content, I mean videos and things like that.
Yeah.
Same with ad revenue, same with gameplay streaming. So they have exceptions there.
Okay.
Makes sense. So there we have it.
Yeah.
A dense, complicated issue.
Meaty topic.
So.
This is not what I was expecting on my lunch break today.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We did get to look at some models.
Yeah. Can we do another Warband or another content spotlight next week?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A good time to mention, actually, next week we would normally release the next episode for our campaign.
Yeah.
It is the finale, which as usual takes a little bit longer. So we'll have something else and special for you. I promise we'll have a little sweet treat for you to help hold you over until it's time for the finale.
Those finales are big projects, though. As you've seen from season 1, if you watch that, a lot of work goes into those. But we are working hard. Working very hard. It's going to be great.
You are. Busting your back for sure. Yeah. So, again, let us know in the comments down below what you think about it. Let's have a civil and awesome discussion. And, of course, join us in the Discord where we can talk about it more and be part of the new Hobby Challenge, St. Valentine's Day.
I can't wait to see what you guys do.
It's going to be awesome. With that, folks, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll catch you all next time in the trenches. Bye! Bye.